This demonstration will cover how to complete and submit the IDR Entity Selection Response web form. Access to this form will be through a unique link that will be emailed to the non-initiating party from the Federal IDR portal once a Notice of IDR Initiation web form has been submitted. Upon selecting the link provided in the email, you will land on the IDR Entity Selection Response form welcome page, as you can see here. On the welcome page, there are a few notes and reminders that the non-initiating party will want to review, including some general information about the overall process and instructions to completing the web form. Disputing parties will have 3 business days from the date of IDR initiation to jointly select a certified IDR entity. Non-initiating parties will have 3 business days to submit the IDR entity selection response form and indicate whether they have a conflict of interest or disagree with the initiating party's preferred certified IDR entity and attest to whether the Federal IDR process applies to the items and services under dispute. For the demonstration today, we are going to look at this form in a test environment. All of the data that has been entered is made-up test data. If you have any questions, you can reach out to the IDR Questions mailbox at federalidrquestions@cms.hhs.gov. There is also a reminder here letting you know that you must complete the form in a single session and that your session will time out after 60 minutes of inactivity. After reviewing the information at the top of this page, the non-initiating party should read this warning message and the Security and Privacy Agreement. At the bottom of the page, select the checkbox next to the Security and Privacy Agreement and select Continue. Enter the dispute reference number in this field. The dispute reference number can be found in the subject line or body text of the email that was received with the link to this form. After entering, select Continue. On the next page, you will be able to review the initiating party name and the initiating party's preferred certified IDR entity. The next section will include Notice of IDR Initiation form documentation as submitted by the initiating party. The non-initiating party should select Download to download and review the Notice of IDR Initiation PDF, as well as any additional documents which may include extension reason files if applicable. The Summary of Qualified Items and/or Services table will display line items that are being disputed. Review the table and determine whether the Federal IDR process applies to each item or service listed. The information here will be uneditable except for the Cost Sharing Allowed field, which may be updated by the non-initiating party if required. If a non-editable field requires updating, the non-initiating party can contact the certified IDR entity when one is selected to request a change. In the Dispute Details section, review the start date provided for the open negotiation period and the health plan type provided by the initiating party. This section will vary on the non-initiating party type. If completing the form as a healthcare provider, healthcare facility, or provider of air ambulance services, you will be prompted to enter either a tax ID or National Provider Identifier number. If the non-initiating party is a health plan, issuer, or federal employee health benefits carrier type, as you can see I am here, you must attest that the health plan type provided in the field above is correct. Select Yes or No in response. Depending on your selections, there may be additional fields required to complete. For example, if I select Yes to attest that the non-federal governmental plan is correct, there is an additional question that appears asking if the health plan type is fully or self-insured. And if self-insured is selected, you must respond to the question, has the self-insured plan opted into any specified state laws that would apply to the items and services in the dispute? Select Yes or No. If you select No, Update the health plan type by selecting the correct option from the drop-down list. Again, depending on your selection, there may be additional fields required to complete. For the purpose of the demonstration, I will select Other and update the health plan type to Medicare. Note that these other health plan type selections will result in auto-populating the objection to the Federal IDR process later on in the form. This next section will display the contact information of the non-initiating party as submitted by the initiating party on the Notice of IDR Initiation web form. This information should be reviewed and updated if required. Once all the information has been reviewed, select Save and Continue. On this page, the non-initiating party will make attestations related to conflict of interest, Federal IDR process applicability, and Federal IDR process requirements. The first question asks if you have a conflict of interest with the certified IDR entity in parentheses that was selected by the initiating party. If there is a conflict of interest, select Yes. Selecting Yes will automatically populate the No response to the next question, indicating that you do not agree to the certified IDR entity to handle this dispute. If these are your selections, in the field below, you will be required to select an alternative certified IDR entity from the drop-down list to handle the dispute instead. If there is no conflict of interest with the selected certified IDR entity, select the No Radio button. If you also agree to the certified IDR entity to handle the dispute, select Yes to the second question. If for any reason you do not agree, select No and you will be prompted to select an alternative certified IDR entity. For the demonstration, I will say that I do not have a conflict of interest and agree to the selected certified IDR entity to handle this dispute. In the Conflict of Interest Attestation section, you must attest to one of the two following statements. Either you attest that the selected certified IDR entity does not have a disqualifying conflict of interest, or that the alternative certified IDR entity does not have a disqualifying conflict of interest. For the demonstration, I agreed to the selected certified IDR entity, so I will select the first statement. In the Federal IDR Process Applicability Attestation section, select one of the two following statements. Either you attest that the items and/or services are qualified within the scope of the Federal IDR process, or that the Federal IDR process is not applicable to the items or services under dispute. Because I indicated on the previous page that my health plan type needed to be updated and selected Other as the health plan type, the second statement was automatically selected. If the Federal IDR process is not applicable, you'll be prompted to select at least one of the justifications listed. Depending on the justification selected, you may be prompted to provide additional information or documents. The justification reason was automatically populated and uneditable based on my previous selection. Because I selected Other as the health plan type, the justification reason of the dispute includes items or services under a coverage type not subject to the No Surprises Act was automatically populated for me, as my health plan type selection of Medicare is a coverage type not subject to the NSA. As you can see, there are additional fields required to be completed. If applicable, you may select more than one justification reason by selecting the checkbox next to the statement. Just ensure that all required fields marked with an asterisk are completed before continuing. Then enter the name of the non-initiating party in this field. The date fields will automatically be populated to the date of submission. Select Save and Continue to progress to the next screen. On the Sign and Submit page, the non-initiating party should read this statement and select the checkbox. Enter the non-initiating party name to sign the web form. The date will again automatically populate to the date of submission. Select Submit and you will see the confirmation page that outlines next steps. Now that the web form has been submitted, Select the Print PDF button to download and print a copy of the web form for your records. The non-initiating party will receive an email confirming the selection of a certified IDR entity. If an alternative certified IDR entity has been selected, the initiating party will be given the opportunity to accept or deny the alternative selection through the IDR entity reselection response form. And after a final certified IDR entity has been selected, the parties will be notified of the selection and will be provided with information regarding next steps. This will include how to submit an offer to the certified IDR entity and how to submit the administrative and certified IDR entity fees. Once complete, you may select Exit to exit the web form. This concludes the demonstration of the IDR entity selection response web form.